I am here. Sorry, I just had to close up a couple of things here. Welcome, welcome. Hi, y'all, to my new friends. Sorry, I just had to close up a couple of things here. You know, they say, welcome. Hi. Meet new friends, but keep the old. One is silver and the other gold. My new friends. You know how that goes. Tanya, thank you so much for being patient and watching my my triad where I put, Diane Downs, Susan Smith, and Christopher Watts in the same thing. Or if you want to look at it as Diane Downs, Susan Smith, and Shanann Watts in the same. There's something there, I'm telling you, but my brain kept cramping. I was fighting a migraine all last week. I should have just, slept it off. But I didn't. Something there, I'm telling you, but my brain kept. And so, cramping. I was fighting a migraine all last week. I should have just, slept it off. But I took my medications and whatnot, and what it does is it just causes my brain to just go slower. So I'm really sorry about that. Thanks so much for being patient about that, Tanya. And you said you watched it 3 times now? Tanya, probably Tanya, right? Tanya. And whatnot. And what it does is it just causes my brain to just go slower. Hi, Michelle. Thank you so much for the congrats. I appreciate it. And you said you watched it 3 times now? Tanya, probably Tanya. Now I can hear myself and I can hear the echo. See, I probably need to turn it. Thank you so much for the congrats. I appreciate it. I can hear myself and I can hear the echo. I've got to turn it down somewhere. I'm not sure where. I'm old, trying to keep up with the teenagers doing all of this tech stuff. Let's see. I've got to turn it down somewhere. I'm not sure where. I'm old, trying to keep up. I have to grab one of my teenagers. Tech stuff. North Georgia, Tanya. So are you anywhere near the wild and crazy Michelle Sabate? She's in Georgia. If you are, stay off the roads. North Georgia, Tanya. So are you anywhere near the wild and crazy Michelle Sabate? She's in Georgia. If you are, stay off the roads. So hi, Gina. Hi, Michelle. Hi, Country Sunshine Gal. You're out grocery shopping? If you are, stay off the roads. Ah! So hi, Gina. Hi, Michelle. Hi, Country Sunshine Gal. Country Sunshine Gal, your name just sounds fun. It just sounds like sun, country. Does that just describe you in a nutshell? Your name just sounds fun. It just sounds like sun, country. Does that just describe you in a nutshell? Your name just sounds fun. It just sounds like sun. Just a second. Let me see if I can get rid of this echo. Does that just describe you in a nutshell? Your name just sounds fun. It just sounds like sun. Just a second. Let me see if I can get rid of this echo. Just a second. Let me see if I can get rid of this echo. Tech support. So watch what happens when I talk. I talk into my microphone. Oh, did you fix it? Efficient! The Geek Squad it is. Thank you. I have tech support just so fast. The Geek Squad just comes on in. Yeah, that Tanya, that's why I thought there was all of that feedback, and it was I wasn't sure if you were hearing it double or not, so I had to call one of my teenagers and have them fix it for me. Oh, Country Sunshine Gal, you were raised on Country Sunshine, and it's a song by Dottie West. Pretty much sums you up. Yeah, I love old country. I think that there are so many stories in those songs, and I love songs old country, and I love, the 70s songs and stuff. Any song that has the emotion in it, I just love. Tanya, you've listened to it 5 times now. Okay, now tell the truth, because this happens and it's okay with me. Does it put you to sleep? Because I've explained that when I need to leave Watts Island to, think about something else so I can go to sleep, I go to creators that I like to listen to because they put me to sleep. I really love satire and light humor. And so I'll go over to something like that and I'll listen for like 3 minutes and then, I'm like, wait, now how did that end? And then I'll have to I'll have to go back. Okay. Wasn't Colin Ray incredible? He sounded incredible live. Absolutely incredible. And then Aaron Tippin, hi, softball mom. Aaron Tippin was jumping up and down at the same time. I mean, he just had that kind of crazy energy. Oh, he's jumping up and down, and he's sounding every bit as wonderful. Sammy Kershaw, the same. I was in row 2, on the end right there, and so I could get a pretty clear view because I'm short and I've got an attitude at concerts. I get really mad when people get in front of me and stuff. But it worked really good because there was security sitting like right next to me, like diagonal, and high objection overruled. As soon as people started like rushing up to the stage, somebody right away, bumped into me and security had them out. It was really good because they're keeping the aisles clear. They have to keep the aisles clear. And if they don't, they're just asking for a problem. And with my PTSD and my short woman's complex and stuff, sometimes it's really tough. So it worked out really well for me to be on the aisle this time where I could see so well. And honestly, I mean, they sounded so great. And I did, the 2 songs. So I love that song, I Can Still Feel You, and Little Rock. I love those 2 songs by him. And then I also have, on another recording, I got almost all of, I'll Be Loving You, the one where, I'll meet you in the chores when my chores are through. I've got that one as well. Sometimes when I upload music, it won't let me do the whole thing. So I have to like chop it up, which I'm surprised it allowed most of those 2 songs. So I'm going to try to do the other one. I got a copyright on the Colin Ray one a couple of days after I put it on, but it didn't count against me or anything. It just said that, it recognized the melody, which is fine, but it's like, it's my video. I'm taking these live videos of the singing because it's allowed. If it wasn't allowed, if these were artists that didn't allow it, I could see that they take them down. But there are many times where I try to upload, from being at a concert and whatnot, and YouTube won't even let it go at all. And it's so frustrating. Hi, Brooks. How are you? Yeah, we're all a bunch of friends up in here. We are. It took me forever, ever in a day to get to 1,000. And then once I did, then as you guys saw, I got 130 in one day. So I'm up to 1,130 friends. Thank you guys. Thank you so much. What was happening with my channel, as you guys could see, is that the watch time is amazing. You guys are all just so great and listen and give my I don't know, my storytelling a way of understanding it as a possible new perspective or another way of looking at things. And so my watch time last month had hit 38,200. You need 4,000. You need 4,000 watch hours and you need 1,000 subs. So my watch time was, so far over and above. I was hoping that they would, see that, hey, we've got a little something here. And I don't have, any hate or trolling or anything. I mean, yeah, I get the occasional, twat here and then, but I take care of it. It's not a problem. 9 times out of 10, you guys handle it before I even see it. And so I was hoping that YouTube could see that, hey, we've got a good thing going here. I'm not part of anybody's community. I'm not linked in with anybody. I'm starting something on my own where it's people that are like-minded and we get along. Hi, darling Valentine. Thank you so much. And thank you, Tanya. I really do feel like I worked hard for it. Well, I do some of my, my stories and whatnot, it may sound like I'm just going off the cuff. And it's not. It's that I've really looked at things. I've really, taken my ideas, verified that what I'm thinking is right, writing out my notes, seeing how this and that will fit, and, and really going with those concepts, trying to keep it together. And it was really hard in the beginning for me because my COVID brain was so bad. I have long COVID syndrome. And I feel that forcing myself to do this, to talk, has made me more confident in going and leaving the house and talking, and not feeling like I'm sounding like a blithering idiot, which I probably still do. But there's just little things in trying to make my brain think of what I want to say and forcing myself to think through the fog rather than looking it up. And then I can't even remember what to look up sometimes because it'll just go, hi, Hot Ham Radio. How are you? Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. Everybody put your DNA on that like button. Smash that like button. Smash it, as those kids say. And then the numbers were still really, really hard for me because of the long COVID. And you can see that, a couple of times probably when I was reading the discovery, I was trying to figure out numbers and dates. And literally, I'd be sitting here, writing it down and carrying the one and stuff again because my brain just can't do that. Well, it's coming together. So forcing myself to speak here and having you guys listen and interact with me has really, really been cathartic and healing in so many ways. And I thank you so much. You guys are just absolutely amazing. And thank you, thank you, thank you. I love it. And then, I got rid of my big, huge, scary 1970s pumpkin because I love that pumpkin of mine. It only gets to come out, around October when I put it out in my office. But it was kind of funny because Bullshit Betty got some extensions in her fried ass Dog the Bounty Hunter looking hair. And she put them in, and I don't know if you guys saw it, but her hair is very fried, and it looks like she put in the extensions and just all in the bottom rows. Where if you're gonna do clip-ins, where you do that, you're gonna do the clip-ins, you have to really sandwich them in. You have to go up high and literally like sandwich them in, but you should also make sure that they're kind of the same color, and she didn't even have them in the same color wheel, I'm telling you. So it just I mean, I don't know how she has not left her hair alone as it is, but it prompted me to put up when I was very proud of my extensions, when my hair actually looked good. And those my extension, I think that was that 5 years ago or was that 4 years ago? And I was a hair model for extensions. And this was before the vid and everything, because the vid did so much damage to my hair. And so many people really talk about that and really put it together, because a lot of people weren't figuring it was from that. But yeah, the vid really did a number on people's hair. And so my colorist would not let me put any bleaching or any foils in my hair for like the 9 months at a time. When the first it happened, I had to wait 9 months and get 9 inches cut off of my hair. And so it's like I'm regrowing it now, and it's bra strap level. But and that's how long my natural hair was with those extensions. So my natural hair was right to my bra strap, and then put in the extensions, and the extensions hit my upper hip bone. Now they wanted to cut them, so it was the same length as my natural hair, and I'm like, you ain't touching anything. I really like to leave the salon as it is right now. And I really didn't know about how difficult it was to maintain those were tape in. And as I was a model for them, I had to pay for supplies. So I paid for that hair, which that hair was actual human hair. And we colored my hair and the extensions both together. So there was a huge process in getting everything to look as good as they did. So, it was like, okay, that's a process that would cost somebody probably $3,000 to $5,000 to get done correctly in all that I had done, and going to that high-end salon as a model, throughout. I think it was like an 8-week process where we started and got everything, just really going. And you can't buy that hair for cost. So that's where I'm saying, it really would be in there. But as a lot of what you saw when the big trend of those long, beautiful extensions was, you would start to see people just having that gorgeous curtain bang in the front, blonde hair, right to, mid waist length. Everybody just looked like they had beautiful hair. Then a couple months into it, it looked kind of weird. It kind of bird nesty, especially in the back. It looked like people were getting, hunchbacks and stuff. That's how those things start balling up and getting all ratty. If you don't comb those extensions from root to tip with the brush you're supposed to, every night, several times a night, and then keep it all braided so it doesn't tangle in, you're going to get this bird's nest. And what had happened was, because it was done as a model, so it was the stylist's first time to put in the extension, she put in too much glue. So then, as I'm a hot-headed Italian, and my head's always sweaty, when my head would sweat, the glue would get reactivated, and then it would get all stuck in the extensions, and then that bird nesty lump was just going, and it was awful. And the extensions feel like you are wearing a hot heavy mop. And so I got them taken out, and I felt just so naked without them. I was glad they were gone. And then I looked in the mirror and I'm like, oh, and I wanted them back so bad, but I could never put them back in. I did kind of, look at doing a couple of wigs and stuff. The same thing. I'm so hot headed. The wigs are just hot. So I don't know. It's just an ongoing battle with my hair. But right now I'm just trying to regrow it and keep it in, because it's, still from the vid, it just will fall right out from the roots. And I've not found a good solution for it. A lot of people are trying, the Rogaine, the Nioxin. One that's out there, is Aveda, Invati. That's a pretty good product. You're going to be able to keep what you have and then go, but it's a long process with Invati, and Invati is expensive through Aveda. So, I know more about hair than anybody should, because of my hair modeling and stuff. So if you ever have a hair question, hit me up. If you have a question about anything, I'm just here. I'm just this wealth of information. Thank you so much, Brooks, that I always have in-depth content. I appreciate that. I really do. And yeah, hi, Ham. You didn't notice that the big pumpkin was gone until now? Thank you, Tanya. Thank you so much for agreeing with Brooks. Brooks is one of my OG friends from the beginning. I mean, I am so proud of all of the research that Brooks has really put into all things Watts, and we were really looking at it. Hi, Kitty Witty. This is not my first live. I think that this might be my fourth live. Hot ham, are you hot ham headed? You're hot ham headed. And Tanya knows Kitty Witty. So hello, Kitty Witty. And Tanya, TJ, I have a question. I am TJ. Hello, let me answer your question. I am ready, Tanya. What is it? Go. I got you. What is it? Better be good. Come on. What is it? Are you typing it out? Now, North Georgia Tanya, I bet she could make people shake in their boots in a court of law. Too bad she couldn't continue on with that wave. Who? Oh, okay. Tanya, um, when did I realize that Chris could be innocent? Okay, that's a loaded question, as you know. I don't think that he's innocent. No different than where you look at is OJ innocent? No, he was not found to be guilty. Okay, same as Casey Anthony. Is she innocent? No, but a jury could not find her guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Ah, yeah, Brooks. Yeah, wasn't that just lovely? I mean, I was serious. I'm like, what the F? Like, did she accidentally do this? And like, no, bitch just booted me off in the middle of the thing and didn't tell me why. What the hell? But anyway, okay, so and that's really where the point is that I believe that there are mitigating circumstances. I believe that Christopher Watts has a lot of mitigating circumstances. I believe that there is a story yet untold, and I do not believe that a jury of our peers could find him guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. It's that reasonable doubt that's in there, and he's so easily intimidated. He's just thanks, Brooks. Yeah. I would have made a freaking great lawyer. There's a story there too, because I had to drop out of law school. I'll tell you about that. So basically, okay, they have no evidence. I mean, I looked through that entire discovery. There's nothing. And they know it. They know it. And that's why in the end of the discovery, you see that, oh, our tax dollars were paying the CBI to go and interview anybody that Shanann had ever dined with in the last decade to ask how much alcohol she drank when they went out to dinner. What? What does that have to do with that one night where events culminated? What did that have to do with all of the lies in the house of cards that she had created? What did that have to do with anything? And then when we weren't paying CBI dollars to investigate that CBI investigator was, how many different places did she go to see if Christopher took the CPR classes that were offered at his workplace? That's it. Because they had no actual evidence. So innocent is a loaded word in our judicial system. Innocent is where, you were at the wrong place at the wrong time. You didn't do that. There's an affirmative defense where you say, yeah, I did it, but this is why. Chris doesn't know how to fight like that. His ability to fight is still in this little jar that Shanann put up with his nuts all surrounding in a jar and put it in a pantry somewhere with that big jar of peanut butter that she had in there and a couple other things. He was going so long without sleep. I mean, could you imagine? Could you freaking imagine going how long with only 3 hours of sleep a night? And this went on for months. That product that he was being given, she put those stickers on him and she said, she did this because she wanted him to live forever. Well, yeah, because he did everything for her. He was her caretaker, the girl's caretaker. Of course she didn't want anything to happen to him. He did everything. So it's ironic that she said that, she was doing these things for his health. She wanted him to live forever. And there's a history of heart problems on his on his side of the family. So she thought that by doing this healthy lifestyle, it would do it. Well, nothing was healthy about that at all. When you have a heart rate that your body thinks you are doing hard exercise 24 hours a day, that your heart rate is that high up, that is not good for your heart. That is not good for your kidneys. That's not good for your adrenal glands. I mean, it's just not good all over. And that's where, he just said it. And then when he said it in one of the interviews, I was like, what? I was like, that's not right. And so to go so long without good sleep and not getting REM, that builds up. And so he said, he'd gotten 3 hours of sleep for, months because of this product. So he's being given an upper for all intents and purposes. We don't know what's in it. Essentially, it could be meth. I mean, look at it. So if you look at anybody who goes that long and they go without REM, it's not out of the question that then they start to develop psychosis. They do things that are out of character for them. Their personality is different. They're acting agitated. They're not in their same headspace. They can't tell what's really happening and what's not happening. Our body, our brains need REM. And that's an integral part of our human function. Just as crapping. She hadn't crapped in 10 days and she's sitting there, just mentioning it. So this product they're giving doesn't make you shit, doesn't make you sleep. What? It's not making you human. You're becoming a robot. And robots malfunction, when you're not acting like a human and metabolizing correctly, sleeping correctly, these things happen. And something happened. When he can sit there with a straight face and talk about how, yeah, he did this and that, it was a demon that took over, and no one questions that. They're like, oh yeah, look at him, he's guilty of sin. Yep, he said the demon was there. Going, okay, wait a minute. So if he believes that a demon was there, does that mean that he was in his correct state of mind? Why didn't anybody at that point question his state of mind? Well, because he said those things how long after he'd already been given his sentence. What has happening is that, hi Darren, people are now putting the Wisconsin interview out of order to the rest of things. So when you see the basic story come up and they're like, the man who had an affair, and then they'll put in this soundbite of him saying, out, a demon took over and he did this and then he did that, then you have these people who don't know anything about the case. They take those things and they're like, well, he admitted that he did it. No, it didn't go down like that. It didn't. And as I talk about, well, Diane Downs claimed innocence, and she was, by a jury of her peers, proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Susan Smith ultimately confessed. So you have those two. You have those two with the unthinkable. I mean, I can remember where I was when those cases were going. And they didn't get charged with this, and this. Christopher got, what? They pinned on every other scrappy case in Weld County that needed somewhere to go and put it on his deal. He had nothing to lose. He chose life without the possibility of parole, when very likely Diane Downs and Susan Smith can be free women within the next 1 to 2 years. They were given a sentence and they're eligible for parole. They are, well, somewhat well behaved. I mean, Susan Smith, sleeps with the guards and stuff, so I'm sure that, she gets the little gold star on her police report, on her behavior reports, but you know how it is. Exactly, Kitty Witty. No drug testing and no mental evaluation when he got arrested. And that's it's really problematic, because you see that the questions were asked. And in the discovery, where I found that they had one of the the yes women of Shanann, one of the yes women brought in all of the products in which Christopher would have been ingesting at that time. They took samples of all of that and they took that to their laboratory. Yet the results of those testings are not in that discovery. With this case, it is so much of what is not there. There is no good investigation. There is no result for this. There is no paternal result for Christopher Watts taking a paternity test, which you could argue means that he is not the father, that somebody else is. Oh, but the ruse said that he was. Right, but the ruse were saying that Christopher was saying, that's not my baby. That, when was Christopher saying that? Because that's not in the discovery. That's not in any of these police reports. So was their conversations going. Did Christopher Watts say that? And is that why she flied Daddy all the way out to Colorado? When he found out that she was pregnant, he was like, there's no way, because I haven't done you, not with my next door neighbor, Nate's dick, and you're pregnant. I mean, come on. It didn't make sense. Nothing makes sense, and that is the crappiest. I mean, if that's how our judicial system is right now, all of us should be very afraid. Very, very afraid, because any one of us could be at the wrong place at the wrong time, and and exactly, Darren. I mean, darling Valentine, yeah. And that's where I said, no telling what's in those silly stickers. When I saw that, and I was like, I just got that because I got this vision when she bragged about beating his ass all the way out to the porch. I just got this thing, and I was like, it's like she probably grabbed another sticker and was like, come on, you mofo, this sticker, yeah, it's not working. I'm gonna slap another one of them silly stickers on you and see if you'll behave now. You know what I mean? That's where the term silly stickers was born that night. And that's the thing, is that Tanya, the pressure on him was absolutely astronomical. He's, like I say, he's very timid. He will not stand and fight. That's how Shanann got away with everything that she did. And then Kitty Witty, when you do go into the prison system, you are tested by a psychologist to make sure that you will not be a problem to other prisoners, the guards, etc., etc. They found nothing on his psychological profiles that show any type of a personality disorder whatsoever. And that speaks volumes to me, because I think that, forensic investigators, when they know all of the facts, can look at all of the problems that Shanann had growing up that suggested conduct disorder, et cetera, and compare that to Chris, and you go and you do, a forensic psychological evaluation on both of them, and you got one person there who was very personality disordered, and you got one who wasn't. And you just don't have a person who doesn't have any history of that do what he's accused of doing, Well, hello, my bistitual hooker friend. Good. I'm happy that you're here on my live. And what, you got some little squirrels there? I love those little squirrel emojis. That's real cute. Do you know Brooks? Okay, see, we're a big old family here. We're a family. Exactly. And D.A. Rourke, I think, objection overruled. Didn't you tell me that D.A. Rourke said that he hadn't even read the whole discovery? And arguably, these people have a huge caseload. I don't know how much there was in Colorado at that time, but the fact that there are people like us who have looked into this case more than this, and people are like, so what? The girls aren't here anymore and this is over. It's not over. Somebody is in prison who doesn't get to see his family, and his family is vilified. They think that the Watts are these greedy people. Like I said, when I've proven that that idiot has it all backwards on her channel, where she's making it seem like the Watts are these greedy, evil people, saying that they went to the court and they're narcissists and they got all this money. They haven't gotten a cent. What are you talking about? Just like when people, it's like, is there a number where I can call to get my money? Because I don't see it. Oh, hedgehogs. Are those hedgehogs? As I was thinking they might be. Oh, and it's because of the hedgehogs, because I made that hedgehog give birth. Is that why you did that, my hooker friend? Are you talking about how I did my my life to scale model on baby Nico, and the hedgehog had to avail itself to my display? And okay, so let's go here. And now Brooke says, do you think that CW told the truth when he said he scored 140 on his jailhouse IQ test? Who knows? I question it, because I mean, at the end, he had the final joke, because at the end of that interview in Wisconsin, he said something about, yeah, in my second grade teacher, when I told her that I went to Japan for summer or something like that, my teacher said that I could tell anybody anything and they'd believe it. He had a shit-eating grin on his face because he's looking at Like, I told you this big bag of crap, and now you're gonna run with it so people will leave me alone. I want to be. And I thought, you know what? He gave them this big old story, and they were writing it down, writing it down, writing it down, and he's just laughing all the way because he knows whatever he says, they're gonna grab onto. And my theory is, okay, so Tanya, how did Tambergler and Graham go to interview again in Wisconsin? What was the point? I'm going to tell you that. I'm going to tell you what it is because there was talk about him getting that 35C. That 35C was getting all fired up. I think that's when he was open to talking to people and being maybe a part of a three-way marriage and whatever else was going on with, was that Darren Tallman or whatever, and the woman. And they were really riling him up to stand up and fight for his freedom. And I think that Rourke and Tambergler and everything started shitting their pants because they were like, if he gets up, if he stands on his own legs, goes and finds that container that Shanann put his nuts in years ago, screws them back on, we have a problem here because we didn't answer all of the questions that are yet to be answered. There are more questions than answered, and their careers could very well be questionable. I mean, there's all these things that, oh, these people can't even work now because of it. You know, maybe because any case that they touch right now could be questioned because they're shitty. Tambergler gets to go around the country and be paid to be a domestic violence expert. When she can't tell that Christopher Watts is the victim himself of domestic violence. She didn't do anything. She did not do anything. She's not talented at all. Do you have 3 hedgehogs, Hooker? Do you actually have 3 hedgehogs? I'm horribly jealous. I've always wanted one, and I would like a chinchilla too. I know, that therapist coach is unbelievable. She's not a therapist, and that's the thing, is that people think that she is. She talks a good game, and so people think that she's a clinical psychologist. So I started looking into it and everything. I was going to be like going for her freaking license and everything. And then it's like, nope, there's nothing there that says she has any education whatsoever. She says that she coaches people who are undergoing or have underwent narcissistic abuse. And I feel so sorry for those people who are looking at her for advice. They're probably more screwed up than ever before. Absolutely, Tanya. He absolutely was. He absolutely was. Oh, that back rub, like I say, turn that around. Turn that around. And let's say that, well, Diane Downs would have turned around. I mean, turn this. So put this into this. Let's say Diane Downs is sitting there and you've got this, CBI agent rubbing her shoulders. Diane Downs would have turned around that chair around and bent over that table. I'm sorry, but Diane Downs, she was running out, getting pregnant every time she could. She would have absolutely. Susan Smith, she's been sleeping with the guards. I totally saw that. The guards and the younger woman, her cellmate too. So she is getting what she needs to get through her ways. And like they say, she's the queen of the commissary. She has that commissary all going in there. To write to Chris now, you have to go through a system, and it is called text behind. And this is a system that many prisons are going to, in that then it's going to cut down on the possibility of contraband, drugs being, put out on the paper, information going back and forth. And so what it is that you have to subscribe to a service called Text Behind. I did try to send him one letter, and I did not know this. So it was sent back to me with this big ass rubber stamp that said, this correctional facility does not take letters. You must go through Text Behind. And so now the problem with Text Behind is that you have to prepay for the letters, okay? And they're like $1.79, $2 or something for the letter. And in that, you have to give your visa. in that you have to give all of your personal identifying information. So your name, your address, and everything, that is all transparent across the board. Now, we've all seen how many times people get into Christopher's letter correspondence, and who wants to really take that risk right now? I mean, anything that you say can and will be used against you. So I don't know. I mean, I went to the point and looking at that and everything, and it's like, no, and you can't use a prepaid Visa. You can't do anything. It's all verified. You can't. There's there's checks and balances. What prisons are doing is a nod to the future and the way that things need to be, because think about how much manpower that's going to save them, because they used to have somebody, go through each thing, scan each thing, feel it, everything, and how much was getting past it and how much was getting past it as guards who gave the nod and whatnot and would let contraband go through. So it's just that's one of the facilities that does text behind. Yeah. Um, and that's like I say. I mean, I've seen. I mean, the next documentary that goes out about him could very well put your name out there on a TV screen, and I don't know. I just don't know that it's worth it. Um, I mean, it's totally up to anybody. I don't see that Chris. Okay, the question on the IQ. I don't think it's a secret that many of us think that he's on the spectrum. Okay? I think that it's likely that he could be very intelligent in that way of almost like a savant in the way that he can do things mechanically. Okay? It's not in the way that we think that he's smart, because there's some questionable things here. That is the problem in a nutshell, because he is not able to make the decisions on his own. He is not able to see right from wrong. He is not able to read the room, as I say. He is not able to see when somebody is guiding him the wrong way. He cannot properly emote. And that is where I feel that he was led down this path of taking the worst possible deal that you could ever get. I mean, oh, it's because he doesn't want to die. Oh, I don't think so. I don't think so at all. I don't know where that came from. I really don't. I think that the last person who was put to death in Colorado was when, and as it comes out is what they said is that, well, if you take this, then you can be closer to your parents. They said closer, so he's thinking, okay, they're gonna pop my prison laden orange jumpsuit wearing ass back to where my friends and family are so they can come in and talk to me. He didn't know it was going to be the middle of nowhere, Wisconsin. And it's nowhere, Wisconsin. There's nothing, it's way out there, okay? Um so it got a bad deal all around. His parents could to get there. I mean, it's not even near an airport. So his parents, if they go to Wisconsin, they have to fly in somewhere and then drive 2 or 3 hours up to this or up to the correctional facility. So it's not easy on them. I mean, it would be expensive. But I believe that he thought that he was going to be able to get that and be by his parents. And that's the only reason that he said, sure. So, yeah, I think that it could be that he has that high intelligence. The problem and the way to look at this is that Chris is a fixer. He fixes things. He's got that mechanic oriented brain, which may or may not be on the spectrum. So he fixes things. So whatever happened that night, however it happened, needed something to be fixed. And what does Chris do? He fixes things. And he knew enough to know that, well, his truck is going to show where he's going to be, and he's got to be to work, so he's got to fix things on his way. So I believe that that's why he was out of his tree, because he was in shock. He hadn't slept in how long? Hadn't slept in how long? And he's a fixer. And he doesn't know how to properly emote. He didn't know how to let the feelings shock and terror, everything of what he saw that night or what he did that night. He didn't know, but he knew how to fix it, because that's what his brain and mind do. He fixes things. He's a mechanic. He fixes things. He compartmentalizes and fixes things. He does what he has to do, and it goes in that way. There's not the superfluous feelings and thought process around it. He did this. He had to go clean up. He had to go put this away, and he did that. And that's where I think that, he's on that. He's on that porch and he's going back and forth. He's stimming. He's trying to self-comfort. He's going back and forth. People are saying he's smirking. He's on the spectrum. You look at that and you have somebody who who has dealt with somebody with autism in the past. That's what it is. He isn't laughing at anybody. He isn't smirking at anybody. He doesn't know how to properly emote. Now, let me see here. Ray Orbison, hello. Is it possible Shanann was on the spectrum as well? I thought so. But I think that it's just she was so personality disordered, and the cluster B personality disorders that she has, and all of the lies. I don't think that she could keep track of the lies. Absolutely, Einstein was on the spectrum. Got lost walking from his classroom where he taught to his residents on campus. Absolutely. A guy who loved cars didn't even have his own vehicle. Well, that was because she spent all of the money. And you know what? That Lexus was his vehicle. That Lexus was not hers. That Lexus was leased by him. Didn't have her name on it at all. And hello, let's see. Hello, Kat. 4 days in October, gang. SR is supposed to be a good Italian Roman Catholic, but she couldn't possibly want the death penalty for Chris. LOL. I mean, her Catholicism is transient. Seems to come and go. From the way that she has treated the men in her life and some of the things that have espoused from her and to her daughter, it just doesn't seem like she's got that Catholic spirit all the time. And my knitting hooker friend, I agree, and that's, I think that I feel that too. My knitting hooker friend here says, as a female survivor of domestic violence, I think this case is horrendous. A victim of domestic violence is being ignored and treated horribly. I see that because I don't see the gender differentiation in the abuse as others have in this case. I am gender neutral to seeing this abuse for what it is. I see Chris as the absolute victim of domestic violence over and again, and he is shamed and stepped on and humiliated over and again, and he has Stockholm syndrome, in my opinion. He has PTSD from all of the lies. He couldn't keep track of them. Anytime he tried to say anything, he was gaslit. He was no match for her. He was just a good old boy. I mean, he just came from a good family, played sports from the age of 5 to 17. That is somebody who likes a routine, okay? So when he came into this relationship with Shanann and she put this strict routine on with the way that the house was ran, the routine was the thing that made him feel okay and comfortable, because he can't stand the chaos and the unpredictable. So he had that, and he really cleaved to that, so much so that he did not pay attention to what was going on beyond that. And he knew that if he upheld that routine, he was okay, and the girls were okay, and everything was okay until the next day. And he went with that. He didn't let himself think. And it's disgusting that nobody else let him think. And it's disgusting that he was absolutely gaslit by Tamburglar when she looked at the videos and said, Shanann's a darn good mom. You know what? If you believe those commercials, if you looked at those, do you go out and buy every single thing that you see then on other commercials? I I I don't know, because I can tell you that those were commercials. She was making commercials for a product that she was pimping. He wasn't selling it. There is no way any MLM gives you that many free vacations, all expenses paid, and a vehicle and everything. I mean, and what, people actually believe this? Come on, come on. I no, people. If the actual truth would come out and be laid out, I don't even think people would believe it, because they're so hornswoggled by the commercials she made. I mean, it's ridiculous. Ridiculous that people believe it. In every other chat, without exception, that I go, that is, pro Shanann, the shiners and everything, I go through the feed, and literally I see the most crazy, crazy things that people say that are not based in fact whatsoever, but they're very adamant about it. And those kind of people, you can't argue with them. You can't change their mind. They believe the lies that they have heard, and I don't know, it says a lot about our society today. We really have devolved. Tanya, I agree. Um and okay, so Brooks, he could have gotten a lesser sentence if he would have held out for a lawyer, at least the mitigating circumstances. Exactly. And the problem is that he had an attorney. He had the public defenders. He had them. Okay. They didn't do anything. He felt bad because he told them what had happened, and then he felt bad that they had to hear it. And I mean, it's disgusting that I don't even know. My knit and hooker, it's also keeping other abused males from recognizing their, absolutely. And I got somebody saying the other day, it was like, why are you so obsessed about the few victims that aren't perfect, and why are you obsessed with the few females that may be victims? Why don't you pay attention to all of the males that do all this? It's like, no. You're not getting the point. It's like, Christopher is the victim. Shanann is not the victim of domestic violence. When we want to look at, okay, what happened that night? I don't know what happened that night. Nobody does. So aside from what happened that night, we look at the abuse. He was abused. He was abused many more times than we know. Now, it absolutely keeps other men from speaking out. Men are ashamed to admit what is going on. They go into the courtroom and they are further humiliated. They are financially exploited. And that's, where I have the other one that I'm exposing because of the horrible things she did to the veteran by lying about abuse. And so Tanya, Mary Kay, I very, very much felt just anytime I'd get a compliment from another woman, it's sad. It was somebody trying to sell Mary Kay to me and get me to sign up under them. It's happened so many times. And I actually really like the original Mary Kay formula, the stuff with formaldehyde. You put that stuff on your on your lips in the morning and stare until like the next day. I love the formaldehyde. But they took that out, so the lipstick smears all over. But I went to a couple of the little, why don't you come along for a girls' day? And you go, and it's this. And I mean, as soon as you're there, they're having you write down 5 other people that they can contact, with you right there. They're sitting there making you write this down and doing that formula, of your friends, your relatives, your your kids as friends as parents, and it's like they want you to write that all down, and you're just going, I don't want to. And you really feel like you're gaslit in anything like that. Um and Kitty Witty, you think that she sold enough to get hers free, but as for everything else, like, no, 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 nope, not even, my love. Um, nope. Um, she didn't get shit. She was buying all of her the people who were under her, who could not hit their minimums. She was paying for theirs. So then she was paying down to buy her ranks. Okay. So she was, like, as I've explained, she might have put in $10,000 a month and gotten back 2,000 at that commission. She's still out 8,000 a month. That's not getting hers for free. It's so deep down. And I agree, Brooks, that we need family shelters that help men too. There are hardly any, shelters as there are for women, but if you try and find one for a man, yeah, right, they'll tell them to go to the St. Vincent de Paul, and there's no. And you know what? As we have equality in marriage, the equality in domestic violence is going to be seen again. There is going to be more of a need for gender neutral and male shelters. There absolutely is. Um, and Kitty Woody, it absolutely. I mean, there was some kind of a backdoor deal, because there was no delineation between who was working for who in the prosecution, and for Chris, it was just they're all working for Weld County, and it's rolled up like that. There's nothing there. There was nobody for Chris, although there was technically the ones for Chris. They were in the house and whatnot, but they didn't do anything for him. They did not tell him, look, you and your father essentially mouthed the words lawyer 5 times, not just one, with a good attorney. And there were others that would have, got helped, just for the sake of having our judicial system represented better, that would have helped. They would have gotten that, whatever it was, the polygraph and the first confession, whatever it was, they would have gotten that thrown out. And he should have never, ever done that Wisconsin thing. That is so messed up. That's never happened from anybody else. I know, Tanya. Would you like a free makeover and a spa? Would you like to come to a girls' night out? Yeah. It's just going to be a bunch of us girls sitting there, and, we're going to play with makeup, and we're going to give you a facial. I mean, you have that beautiful, just peach skin that we're just looking for. It's just peaches and cream. I've never seen such beautiful glowing skin on somebody. What do you do now for your skin? I'm like, I take a shower every so often. Hi, Wendy. Oh, exactly. I mean, we don't even know how many, of the other things were behind. I mean, obviously we can see that the homeowners and the mortgage were there. And I've wondered too, because, you can go how long without paying, the utilities before they actually turn them off. They were probably all just ready to be turned off, and the house was going to be foreclosed. Now let's see here. And when you say the lawsuit state that they also take social security numbers and other information and make up customers, like I said, and make the payments for them so they're meeting their quota. The lawsuit state they also take social security numbers and other information and make up customers, like I said. You should never give anybody your social security number. The reason why that's important is because another MLM and those people flock together and they use each other as customers. So their numbers are the same. I agree. That women's shelters are horrible when you need help getting. I know. I'm sorry. You went through so much. I mean, they, they're what was Chris gonna do if he tried to say that he couldn't even emote that he was being abused? People saw it. They joked around about it. They joked around about the fact that she's going around with another man right in front of him, that he's home with the girls. Well, she's out with that other man again. And then what would he see all of the pictures of her and the other man having a great time out of town? They didn't even tag him in it. And he's at home making sure that he's got, the janitor's keys to make sure that he locks the girls in at night. I mean, how ridiculous. Um, oh yeah, I'm sorry. I probably because they have to, per all of the things. And now Wendy, Tanya, I think that you meant to say my hooker friend here. So we'll call her the knitter. The knitter was she was a victim, and she had multiple chemical sensitivity, and so she couldn't even stay in the shelter when she went. She had to sleep in the van because of the chemicals and whatnot. And I just, you know, I am so happy that you are on the other side and that you are able to impart such knowledge. I love all that you contribute. You are an amazing person, and I'm so glad that you made it out. And I know that the PTSD is a battle every day, but I know that you know how to walk through. Sometimes, if it's minute by minute, it's minutes that you got through. And I know that you know how to put one foot in front of the other, and soon you've taken steps. I know that you know how to do that. And you know what? That knitting, that is EMDR. That is activating that right and left brain so that the two don't get twisted over and we self combust. You know what I mean? When we go down that and our PTSD is so bad, our right and left are mushed together. They can't work. We got to slow them down. And that's why if you can grab a pebble and you put a pebble in one hand and to the other, you can pat your right knee and pat your left knee. If you don't want anybody to look at you and you're in a situation, you just close your eyes and make one eye go to the right and one go to the left. Well, like both eyes go there, because that would be really hard to do one eyeball. But you know what I mean? You just start doing the right to the left, and then you start to think about it. And, you think of the garage bands of our youth and everything, and them just getting that anger out and that rock and everything. That's those troubled youth using music to calm down. Music makes that right and that left brain work together again. And you see it's in the music, it's in the playing the guitar, it's in the playing the piano, it's in the knitting, it's all of that. You're you're absolutely right. And I hoped that when Johnny Depp came out, that people were going to be able to start speaking out on males being abused. But somehow it got twisted. And here on YouTube, that weirdo that I try to have therapy with, as you see my therapy sessions with her, she didn't even get it right. And she turned it into saying that Johnny Depp is a freaking narcissist too. Just as the Watts are narcissists. I can't help her. I sit down these therapy sessions with her, but you know how it goes. You've seen. Well, reverse crawling is good as well. Well, I don't know that I'm able to do. I've ever tried reverse crawling. I don't know which I don't think I'm coordinated enough to do that, but thank you for that. I appreciate it. Also, if you're in the middle of a panic attack, if you bear down, like it's been 10 days since you've taken one and you need to really bear down, you'll either shit your pants or stop having a panic attack. Just kidding, just kidding. No, seriously, you'll fart. Just kidding, just kidding. No, you can't bear down and have a panic attack at the same time. The nervous system doesn't do it. Um, I found this out because I had this wacky ass therapist and I gave her so much therapy. I mean, as much as my insurance could afford, I gave her so much therapy, all the things I had to hear from her. And then whenever I would try to talk a little bit about my problems, she'd, okay, you know, on the Amityville horror, that terrible movie that, gives us nightmares to this day. That pig in the attic. That pig was rocking back and forth and had those glowing red-assed eyes. Well, my therapist would start looking like that. It's like I'd be talking and then she'd like just look down and like her whole face would go and like her eyes would do that, and she's looking like this pig from the Amityville horror thing, and I'm looking at her like, ma'am? And I'm like, and then one time I was like, are you holding in a fart? Or you gotta go to the bathroom? What's going on? And she's like, no, I'm bearing down. And I'm like, why? Like, what are you doing? And she explained, she's like, you need to do that when you're having a panic attack. And she said, you're triggering me. Like, what? What was triggering my therapist? Okay. I made like 3 therapists quit. I mean, I have a complex. I had to give them therapy myself. And then, as if that wasn't bad enough, and she's sitting there doing that. Well, one day she pulled down her pants right in the middle of a therapy session and gave herself a thigh injection for a migraine. Just stood up, pulled down her pants, and gave herself a shot. I, 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 this is my life. This is my life. You know? And so, friend, were you ever in the chat that I got yeeted from? Yeah, the lady, I don't want to say it. Um, the the community that how do I say it without saying it? Well, she could never figure out my name, so that's why I changed it to Tabitha Jane, and because my first username we know is the real Brookline, because it was about this other animal abuser that I was trolling, and she couldn't figure it out, and so rather than having her try and sound it out every time I did that, and then because I changed my name, then that means I must be a scumbag attacker, and I was yeeted in exile, and here I live in exile. I do think that there's a lot of people who go into psych professions that are a bit wacky. I do, because look at me, I have a bachelor's degree in psychology. Ooh, see, um, yeah, used to be, yes, used to be. I mean, and that was my thing too, because once she yeeted me, I was like, well, problem anyway, and I started feeling really dumb repeating the things that she had said about the case. I'm like, there's nothing rooted in truth about that. Where did she find that? And so, it's been good for me, because it's forced me to grow outside of all of that, because I looked all over trying to find where she gets some of the stuff that she pulls out of her, and in my search I can't even find that she has a bar number, so not so sure about anything about her, but you know how that goes. Ooh, the shade. Ooh, the shade. Um, so yeah, I was going to be an attorney, and I was going to specialize in men that are victims of domestic violence, as you may have guessed. I had the perfect plan. My law program was detailed to my life experience, and some of the things that I had done, and I was offered an amazing package, and it was going to be a 3-year get her done, and I moved to Vegas to get her done, and it turned out that my body in the heat really didn't. Yes, Wendy. Uh, okay. Okay, but then she went and tried to befriend Mia and just absolutely ruined Mia's platform as it was for how long? Like, what the heck? Um, but yeah, so I got really sick. I had the low lying kidney infection that, was from my fourth pregnancy when I had the nephrostomy and whatnot. And I had so many kidney stones I had passed to that point. And then when I got to Vegas and started law school, and um getting exhausted again, and I got sick and ended up having septic shock and having a heart attack and all of that stuff. And took me a long time, like kind of like 10 years to recover. And I have uh 90% damage to my small fiber nerves from my knees down, so I fall a lot. I'm prescribed to use a four-wheel walker because I can't even use two my two-wheeler because I fall down on that, and I have a rhinestone blinged out cane with the four prongs and an alarm and a flashlight on it. But I don't like to use any of those, so I just fall a lot. I'm getting better, but yeah. Um okay, and this is the thing, Wendy, is that the fourth time you tried to say something that was true and she get herself upset. And it's not really the wacky word. Right, she ain't right. Something about her is not right. And yeah, you didn't miss anything. Let me tell you. She talks the same thing over and over, says that exactly when she pulls it straight out of her ass. Because people had called her and told her all of this stuff. And it's like, no, that didn't happen. And my thing is I believed everything because as an attorney, especially if you are a member of the bar, you are supposed to hold yourself to a higher level of conduct at all times. Whether or not you are in front of the judge or not, you're held to a higher standard. And so an attorney, oh yeah, exactly, that came right from exactly, right. um uh, she exploited Cindy, in my opinion, Brooks. I really feel that, I think the Watts are such kind people that they are victimized very easily by people who have their own agenda. And Mensa wrote an essay or whatever it is. If you've ever seen this woman's writing skills, yeah, you would seriously wonder if she finished law school. But anyway, I didn't think that any member of the bar would go out and say things that are not true because you are, as an attorney, you are a defender of the truth. You are Lady Justice. Um, so anyway, the things that she was saying, I thought had to be true. And when it came down to it and they were not true, and she is indeed a part of the problem, I was very disappointed in her and disappointed in myself that I had been so easily led to what I believed by her. And so now when I say something, it is rooted to where I can cite and source it. It is something that I have went and thought a lot about, so that when I speak on something, I can be confident in what I am saying. I do not believe that there was any CPS involvement whatsoever. Her things. Hi, Becky Boo. Hi, Kim. Um, she says that CPS was in the Watts home to the effect that CPS had everything monitored. And so they had the provisions that Shanann had to work from home and live in the office, and that they were monitoring her remotely. If anybody's dealt with CPS for 2.5 seconds in their lifetime, they know that nothing could be further from the truth. Okay? That, exactly, Becky. It's an absolute echo chamber. And oh, yes, you know, you know what, Star? You know what? I think it was moving day. I think it was moving day. I mean, between her and Molly, man, they just chomp. You know what? I think it was. I think it was moving day. You know, anything that anybody says, they're like, you know what? There's a lunar eclipse tonight. You know what? I'm thinking it was moving day. It's like, what? And yes, and under the supervision, and exactly, they'll take your kids, not waste monitoring you, and you'll have to go through, because she said that there were these provisions that they needed to do, and because they were not doing them, then they were going to be in court. No, and as an attorney, you would know that, in the discovery where it shows what time and where they were due in Weld County, it is asserted that it was because of the bank that the homeowners association is all listed there. It is not anything to do with family court. That it's a Weld County Superior Courthouse, so it has everything under the roof that can happen, you know, from marriage licenses to, you know, obviously getting the raw deal to get sent to prison for the rest of your life without the possibility of parole. I mean, really depraved. We saved that sentence of life without the possibility of parole to the most depraved in our society. And Chris malfunctioned. The stickers backfired. The formula wasn't right. Something went wrong. But then again, now, exactly, Brooks, and the loud clicking, I don't know. I think she's like on this big old like 1920s typewriter, and that music in the tin can, it's weird because okay, that song, you don't own me. Okay, that was on Handmaid's Tale in a scene in which a man is being torn limb by limb in no man's land. And oh, hi Kim. Oh, so Mia, we can talk about Mia in a second. So when I saw that song in that scene in Handmaid's Tale, I'm going, is that because I feel that who we're talking about hates men. She hates men. Well, she hates women. I don't know, she's a hater. And so yeah, Wendy, Mia is absolutely beautiful. She she Becky says she's on a hot ham radio. Exactly, the family matter. Then the only reason it was called a family matter is because Sandy called in and called it a family matter because she was being the politician, not wanting everybody to know that her daughter had not been paying the bills. So she wanted, it's personal, it's a secret, it's a family matter. It's a family matter. It came out of the Rue's mouth. And that's the thing is that as I go down and I trace down exactly whose mouth came out of what. So I like Mia. She believes in saving people money, you know, and the way that her hair is absolutely gorgeous. She's got it the most perfect shade of blonde, and she goes through and she'll tell you which formula do and which lightener and whatnot to get that shade of blonde. Now Mia will go through line by line of the discovery, and just repeat, go over line by line, and she's got her own cohort of people that like that. They just go over line by line very factually in that discovery, and they just go over it again and again. um I can't do that. I read the discovery. It's there for all of you to listen to. It's great sleeping material. There is, like I said, I'm going to go through and condense it and do the condensed discovery, and it'll be about a page for you all. Um, but Mia, I believe, got kind of manipulated by some of the um, drama that Mensa and her sidekick were doing to everybody, and they go around, they're very hurtful, they're very very, very hurtful to people. um and SM, no, 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 Tanya, you think she's all innocent and grandma like and everything, right? Well, she's the one who's done a lot of mean ass things, and if you listen to what happened that night to me, what happens when they're talking, they're also like sending things back and forth. And if you listen to it, SM did something. She's like, do you see what I just sent you? And Mensa goes, let me look. And then she goes, and then she yeeted me. And I've had a lot of people show me some really mean things that she's done. And I don't for a second think that anybody is going to be committing federal offenses by going and messing with her mailbox, putting in dead rats. Where are they getting these dead rats? And why? And if she says she's out in the country, it can happen. I mean, it can happen that a rat can just go in your freaking mailbox. I mean, no way. And then, okay, let's see. Um, yeah, I agree. I agree. Because, and for an attorney to throw out the government documents, it's a huge it's a huge slight, if especially if you are in that profession. And that's my thing, is that she espouses that she is an well, she espouses she's a mediator. Okay, she has went to law school, and I think that that's where it is. And there are people who are mediators, they're very good at doing a very specific thing. However, her specialty is in domestic violence, and I don't believe that she understands that men can be victims of domestic violence as well as she could. I don't see that she sees things as they are in our modern world. Um, Mostly hate recently, exactly. Um, Thank you so much, Kim. Yeah, I can't. Once I got yeeted, when I was put in exile, I never listened to her again. Um, I didn't like that I was being so honest, because I was new to the whole game. I liked it because she was one of the first people. I did appreciate her because she was one of the first people to really put it out there and start speaking out. And because she had the platform that she is an attorney, people would listen. But then she accused everybody of being a scumbag. She accused me of being a scumbag attacker. I didn't know what the one was. I still don't. And the way that then she, has all of this hate for everybody, there's no need for it. Why create that much hate and have all of these enemies back and forth? What happened to me is, um, when I started my channel, it wasn't the scumbag attacker so much as it was other creators who I thought, well, I didn't think they'd be my friends. I just found it to be a very lonely and non welcoming road for me. And some of the creators that shat upon me, um, I just didn't speak about it. I could have went on and been like, oh my gosh, you know what, this, and and then just put myself right into the drama community. And I didn't. And I kept it to myself. And that's why I turned into a raging freaking bitch on the last time I went live. And I feel so bad. I feel so bad. It was on, and so I guess the only rule that I ever have in my chat is not to bring up a creator unless I bring them up. Okay. So if I'm calling out a creator, that means that, you know what, that they've passed my, my little, my tests, if you will. And so I was talking about creators, and then this, one of our friends mentioned another creator, and she didn't have any idea that that other creator had done something shady to me. And so I was like, nope, nope, don't do it, don't do it, don't, just, and it came off bitchy. And I I feel terrible because I've seen people really, turn bitchy on their lives and stuff, and I did never want to be that. So I am so sorry. You know who you are out there. You guys, a lot of you saw it. I turned into the bitch, and I did, like I say, I didn't mean to be. But it's just I've been really quiet about how much I was just stepped on in the beginning, and so I really became alone. And a lot of people, when they start as a I know, Holly, I know. How are you, Holly? Yeah, beautiful girl, you run triathlons and everything. You're all in shape and stuff. And you honestly do it. You don't go and put your running shoes up and be like, "Hey, look at, I just ran. You should eat what I eat and pay me." Right? Um, so like I say, that's my only rule is, like, to only talk about the ones where I say something about them, because, like, you don't know how bad some people did some shady things to me. So, like I say, it really turned out good because I started my own community here. I'm not part of the drama community. I'm not part of the true crime community. I'm really kind of a lone kind of drama, where we put it together. We put the crime and drama together to where we look at some of this stuff, and we look at some of it in a way where we have to kind of laugh at some of it because it's so ridiculous the way that people actually think, and we're able to look at it and really take apart, and instead of turning it into this anger and hate, and oh, scumbag attackers. It's like, look at what they're saying, look why they're saying it, see where it might have came from, and understand it. And if we strive to understand and communicate, that's beautiful. Um, and if we're a part of the solution and what we say is based in truth, that's where, thank you, Holly. That's where I really feel that people judge me fast. They'll go through my channel. What had happened was I was not getting to 1,000 because um, the okay, so the other channel that I had, the bitch I went after, she's an animal abuser, and if you abuse an animal, you are fair game to me. I will jump up and get you any way I can. Okay, I am one with the animals, and I can't stand animal abuse at all. And so my community over there was just, us kind of talking back and forth. And I had, just 140 over there. I'd never, meant to be a creator. I never meant to be a creator or anything like that. Um, But I absolutely adore this other lady across the pond who I became really close to, and she has fibromyalgia. She's not able to get out of bed. She's not able to have gotten out of bed for over 10 years. She lives in the UK, and she was pretty much to her bed. There wasn't really she reached out to me, and we started talking, and I heard her talk once, and I was like, you have the most beautiful voice, the most perfect British accent. You could read shampoo bottles. You sound amazing. Please let your voice be shared. And she didn't believe me. But ultimately, she started to believe me, and she's done some voiceovers now. And she was able to take over another channel that had been exposing the animal abuser. And then she was able to do a good job of really reviewing the videos in a way that I couldn't. Mine were just verbal. So she really took the platform, and I stepped away from that side. Well, because I was so close to getting to 1,000 a couple of weeks ago, she said to the community where I once basically started in there. She said, go over to Tabitha Jane and give her a like. She's close to 1,000. And I guess that, shit hit the fan. And so one person went over there and came back and was like, I'm not going to have anything to do with her. She's a Chris Watts sympathizer. She thinks Chris Watts is innocent and blah, blah, blah. And it was a big old hate fest about me. And I'm like, oh, hold on here. Because I started this whole thing that you guys have over here with Jules and everybody else. So I did this kind of crossover where I went back to my old channel and played with my fairy garden stuff. I don't know if you guys have seen that video. It's it's a crossover event. And I just really explained that this is why I can't hit 1,000. Because if I was in with everybody and I was like, oh, Chris Watts sucks. He's a monster. Yeah, look at what he did just because he was having an affair. You guys know I'd have 30,000 by now. Because lies sell. People believe lies. They are sheeple. And they can have that money. They can have that cheap money. I'm going to earn every cent that I got because I stood down and I stood for the truth. Because I don't believe the headlines. From what we've seen in this case alone, if we can take apart the headlines, and what else are we seeing in anything in our news stations today? I don't watch the news for a reason. I go and source out what I want to find out more about myself. And I think that there are other people like me. And that's where I'm finding all of you. That between that black and white headline, there's that gray. And like I say, isn't it ironic that the gray matter is between that black and white? The gray matter is our brains. And we are using our brains to find out the truth. And if people want to think, that it doesn't matter, well, when it's your life, or your child's life, that the truth would matter to save, you better believe that the truth matters. The second that we devolve to a society that doesn't think that truth matters is a time then you've got to really question who's in charge, where are we headed, what's next. You know what I mean? And so I could not hit that 1,000. I mean, for me having, like I say, 38,200 watch hours, I can't hit 1,000. Like I say, it's because people take one look at my channel and they're like, eh. Then, like I say, these other creators who have all of this, they're allowing lies. Their comments, they don't even answer the people in the comment section because they know they can't. They know that people in the comment section don't know right from wrong. They don't know any of the facts, but they've got that view and they've got those subs, and that's what they want because then they want the money. I don't want or need anything from anybody. I would like to feel more comfortable at the gas pump, and I would like to feel like I can splurge at Starbucks once or twice a week. That's all I want. And so, if it's been a slow boil to get me here, that's okay. It is what it is. I'd rather have quality people than a bunch of people who don't know their ass from a hole in the ground. I have an army now with me. and people who can think on their feet and have solid, good quality conversations. Um, yeah, let's see here. Should have to repeat the following year. Um, so Kitty Witty, we're talking about Catholic schools here. Let me catch up with you, honey. Let me see. Wendy, wasn't she suspicious of me? Like what? I mean, like why was she so suspicious? She was freaking mean to me. And it was because she was saying that I couldn't spell. It was because one you can only put well, she'd know if she ever put anything in anybody else's comments. It's because you can only have like what how many letters in a comment, and so I was writing something and it got cut off and I had to send it, and so she said that I couldn't spell or something. I didn't know the difference between there and there. I'm like, oh, we're not gonna go there because I was the fifth grade spelling bee champion. I know my theirs and theirs. She was outright cruel to me, and I thought that I softened her up. And then the night when I informed her about all that there is in escort world and all of that and how that could have worked out, she let down her guard. Star Mama was cackling. Mensa was laughing and eating carrots at the same time. It was a beautiful thing, and I thought we had a great time. Well, I think she let her guard down and was vulnerable then, and just, went and just popped it back up and went back into her little, I don't know. I don't know, but I don't like the fact that she talks about that she lives all over in the in this country and everything, and has this beautiful outdoor wilderness setting, but yet she wants to shoot the raccoons. If she's in the forest area and has all of this and everything, the raccoons are part of that. You take away one, then something else is going to be missing. You go and you build in their world. You need to accept the raccoons, and the raccoons are part of the cat family. Raccoons are adorable. Thank you, Lily. It wasn't it? I mean, she was, and like I say, I really didn't know anything. I mean, as you guys could probably hear on the other end, and she thought that I was pretending, and she thought that I was somebody else, and all of this. And I mean, she was just mean. But you know what that did to me is hi, Lelia. Yes, we're in. I'm in exile, as you know, from the MMs. Thanks, Wendy. I did though. I did on the last live. I did. I turned into a complete twat. I'm so sorry. Um, and so it has shown me that I don't think she has actual haters. I'm just gonna say it. I think that what she's saying about all these scumbag attackers and all these people coming after her and doing all of this. Yeah, go look at her Facebook page. Every single thing that she said has ever been done to her by the scumbag attackers is because she had it on her Facebook page open to public. Literally, right down to the pictures of her at that luncheon with the man. And then she goes and she's a trumpeter. She loves herself some Trump. And right away, if you go off there, and she wrote a book about Trump too, you go and you say that you love the Trump man, you're going to cut half of your audience right there, if not 75 to 90. You can't count all of the ways you're going to get hate when you go up there and do that. That's our world. Um, but I'm going to tell you that, I've been at this 10 months and no dead rats in my mailbox. People park down the street from me all the time, and I don't think that they're following me. I think that she does it so that it makes it sound like, ooh, wow, you've got haters and you've got scumbag attackers. Well, I don't think anybody can give a shit what she's doing any day of the week. Honestly, I don't. I like to say that she's like a misogynist, like a man that hates women, but it's like she's a woman that hates women. She's an incel. I don't know. I mean, I just don't know why she was so mean to me. And as I hope that I went on this journey of proving that I'm not a scumbag attacker and I'm not with any scumbag attackers. I mean, have you seen, like you say, you guys saw me crawl and fight my way with that pickaxe up the tree trying to get to 1,000. If I was linked with any of the scumbag attackers or with anybody or with it, don't you think I would have gotten to that 1,000 quicker than the 10 months that it took me to get there? I know, Tanya, you can't talk about it at all. Becky, do you know what I mean? I think she's an incel. She's an incel. No, I know, Knitter. It's like it especially if you do voice to text because I was doing that a lot. When I had my arm in the sling and I was because you can't do the punctuation and it does other things and I'm like I I don't spell this way. So he's gonna think that I was just our world. You have to consider. I mean, there are obvious misspellings and whatnot. But then to judge me and put me in that for all of that, she didn't need to do that. And right, Lily, hey, I think it's moving day. Yeah, I really think it was moving day. um there was nothing to support it was moving day. I mean, okay, so Brooks, do you heard that too? It was Star Mama said it. She said, "Did you check the email I just sent you?" And then she's like, "What? Oh yeah." And then boom, like the freaking trap door went out on me, and I'm like, "Oh." I mean, honestly, it felt like I got slapped well, in the dong. I don't have a dong, but shocking. And I was like, okay, this didn't just happen. She wouldn't have just done that to me. Like, why would she do that to me? Like, and I, messaged her right away. I was like, you just dropped me from the panel. Hey. And then boom, she blocked me that way. And I'm like, wow, what an attorney. What a way to solve something that you have a difference of opinion on with somebody. Wow. Tanya, I don't smoke anymore, so I don't know. you can hear Star Mama sitting there flicking the lighter the whole time. Yeah, exactly. Hi, Michelle. Exactly. My moving day was exactly. I mean, yeah. Okay. So Charisse, I do think that in the beginning she wasn't that mean, but yeah, now she's turned out into be. She turned really mean, and yeah. I mean, I don't. How can you be an attorney and be unable to argue your point? I guess that's why she doesn't have a bar. I don't think she's ever done any trial work, I guess. I mean, and there are different attorneys for all kinds of stuff. There are ones that do copyright, there are, whatever. I mean, I would have probably ended up jumping over and biting somebody if I was an attorney. I probably wouldn't have had a career for very long because I get mad at people that lie. So I'm like, it would have been, can you imagine if you just jump over? um, yeah, I mean, it was absolutely an echo chamber. And if everybody in the chat didn't say, yes, Mensa, yes, Mensa, yes, Mensa, And okay, I am really wondering what happened with HB, because HB was what really gave that channel some energy. And I came on, I was like, hey, what happened with her? What happened? And she wouldn't ever answer it directly. So did she put the trap door back out for HB? And then you notice that whenever HB was on, she put that little runner on that said, the comments on this panel by the guests are not necessarily what the host believes or whatever. I'm like, oh, hey, you chicken shit. If you have somebody on the panel on your channel, oh, that rhymes. If you have somebody on the panel on your channel, it is because you are responsible for what that person says. The terms of service for YouTube have that. So if you have somebody get on your panel that, has been booted from YouTube, they're not supposed to be there, or they go on and they say words that are not, compliant with the rules, your channel is going to get taken down. So you are responsible for what that person says. And she got a ton of views, and attention and information from HB. And she was so ungrateful to her. And so I really thought that, HB was wonderful. And I went on a quest to find HB. And there are many other people that have that as a username, but none are her. And she did come back up a few times on MM. But then I was like, wait a minute. She doesn't know anything based in fact that we all don't know now, because we've all went there. What she had was based in rumor, but she can't cite the sources either. So, I mean, it was interesting towards the end. Let's see. Wendy, did you hear the night that I was on that channel? The Obsession? Really, there is conjecture that they're all in it together with who you mentioned, HB and Mensa. Simply because Mensa's so mean to every single person, except for the ones that you just mentioned. Especially men. Brooks, the thing is that she'll be the first to yell at somebody. You don't know the case. Well, you don't know the case. Oh my God. They don't even know the case. They don't know the case. And you know what? Yeah. It was moving day. Well, how can you say you don't know the case when who knows the case? Who knows this and that about the case? This person and that person can make up whatever they want about the case. That doesn't mean that it's factual. If you go to the discovery, that's the case. Okay? That's the case. That's really all there is. If you go out and you find other truth and facts, and you can roll them together and you can deduce that knowledge and say, okay, this doesn't make sense. I mean, I have went into every single thing that I can find from Thrive, and nothing shows a platform where she could have been going the places she was going to as often. There's no way she would have had. And the top CEO of that company doesn't go to as many places as she did. So I've had to go and find what isn't there and go from that point and show that no, she was paying her own way here. And that's why the mortgage wasn't paid. I think, Tanya, I think there's something to it. I really think that, the straight and HB, I think there's something with Mensa, because like I say, she's too nice to him. She'll accuse anybody of being a scumbag attacker if they, say anything. And then, thanks, Ange. I appreciate that. And, right. Oh, really, Brooks? The thing is that why should okay, and here, like, especially in the beginning, I felt so guilty that like you guys were listening to me. Like, I felt like, what can I give you back in return? You guys are giving me your time. Like, why would you do that? Why would you listen to me? Who am I? And so I felt like I just wanted to be a very good and responsible steward of the gift of time that you guys give me. And that's where I wanted to be sure that I could show you where things came from, that the other things that were out there, that the other channels have, all the hate that they spew and everything, they're not based in any fact. So you're not missing out on anything. If you choose to spend your time on my channel, you're not missing out on anything. Those things aren't out there. Those are just rumors. They are rooted in things that have no basis. So I felt like that. And then I looked at the way that she treats people who give their time and their money to her, in the way that she treats them. And she wastes their time with lies and mistruth. And that's nothing that anybody with the moniker Lady Justice would ever stand for. Ever. And it just really made me cynical. And I just thought about what a waste of time it is, and then how people would feel after they watched her. I know that when I started watching her, it was okay. And then towards the end, like, my heart rate would like go up. Like, it would feel like it was beating out of my chest. Like, she was just like inciting that kind of hate in me. And how, like I say, you don't have that as an attorney. You need to come to some compromise to get the best deal for your client. You need to defend them in a way that they get the best deal, but you don't make an enemy out of the other side. No judge would appreciate an attorney who did that. Really interesting. Thanks, Wendy. And then, yeah, exactly, Lily. I really think that there's something there. And I mean, I think that she's in love with Dave, because who sits there and talks about somebody else unless they are, wanting to make you paddle your pink canoe? I mean, and I just stayed away from every creator until I was confident in doing my own research and confident in the way that I thought. And I still don't listen to a lot of creators on the same topic, because I always want to make sure that I am giving the information that came from my brain and I'm not repeating anything. Um, we're talking about Dave, seeking the truth with Dave. Um, and I I've only listened to Armchair like, I think, 10 minutes or so. Like, if he has like a a really great, he's great at taglines and getting the attention, and then you go there and you're like, dude, what are you saying? Are you ever gonna say something? And same with any of them on the thing. There's nothing that they're gonna say that I have not went and researched on my own. You know what I mean? So thing that was different was when Dave honestly developed the relationship over time with the Watts. And when he got Cindy on, and when I heard Cindy say the words I needed to hear from her as a mom to another mom, I knew that I was doing the right thing so that maybe one day Cindy will hear at least my channel, and she'll hear that there are other people that see her son for the man that she raised and do not see him as the terms that other people use, and that see that he has a story that is yet untold. Maybe she can encourage him and say that, you know what? There are other people that believe in you. There were people that believed in him from day one. That's why they held his mail. They did not let him have his mail from people who were saying, hey, Chris, I don't care what you did. You are still God's son. Hey, Chris, it doesn't matter what you did. I was just wondering if you wanted somebody to talk to. Hey, Chris, I'm just wondering how you are today. Do you want to write back? Hey, Chris, this doesn't make sense. Stand on your own 2 feet and fight. From his friend who said, your wife was belittling you. We know this isn't something you would do. Talk to us. And his parents, if they weren't afraid, if they had a solid case, if the state had a solid case, why would they care if he received the mail that he was allowed to get? Inmates have rights. He was not under anything disciplinary. He was not in solitary confinement. There is nothing that states he should not have gotten his mail. His mail was held until and after he accepted that plea, and it was put on, all of it was put on his bed that day. I believe that MM is extremely jealous about Dave's relationship with the Watts. She initially tried to glob on to Cindy, and Cindy and her had, I don't know how it went down, but they had a disagreement, if you will. And she could, well, you know what? She couldn't control Cindy. Cindy thinks for herself. Cindy actually stood up to Shanann. We all know how that went, you know? And that's the thing, is that exactly, Charisse, Dave is trying to get answers. And I believe in his genuine capacity in doing so. So when I gave him a chance, because so many people told me to, I went to him, you know, maybe you guys saw that. I wrote to him, I said, I'm sorry. I was part of groupthink that thought that you were a bad person. I'm sorry for ever thinking that way. I'm sorry if I've made a comment against you. I've watched what you've done. And I thank you for what you are being a part of the solution. And he said something, you know, to the effect of, you know, well, thank you, and I'm glad that you like my tits. So, because I had said a couple of times when he was wearing that jersey that his boobs looked really good. So he watches everything. He watches everything. I'm like, how would he know who I am or anything? You know, I do that. Well, it's like he's watching. He watches everything. And he's got a great sense of humor. And I think Mensa is like, she's incapable of a laugh. She can't have a sense of humor. She's very dry. Very dry. And you know, and she claims that she was a victim of domestic violence. And I don't like to question anybody about it if they say that they've been a victim. But how mean she is to everybody else, I don't see how she specializes in it. And yeah, why does she hate Dave so much? It's an obsession. She hates Dave. And then, like I say, how does she not feel bad for wasting everybody's time just sitting there going on and on about who she hates? It's just not normal. I know, Charisse. Wouldn't it be great if me and Honey Badger got together? Because see, there were people who thought that I was Honey Badger. And so that kind of became a thing, and people were saying that I was Honey Badger and blah blah. And first, it was kind of a joke, but then and then I don't know. Thank you, Ange. I appreciate that you listened to the entire discovery. Yeah, there's not much to it, right? But I mean, at least we know that we're not missing out on anything. And yeah, Tanya, the NK thing, I don't know. So I really just stay away from it because don't I don't know. I don't think that she's some of the web searches really infer that she's not as she likes to just act like she's pure as the I don't know, because then all those pictures just come going through my head. So I don't know if those web searches are true that she did. I mean, she was really looking up Shanann and stuff. I don't know, but I mean, is that just rhetoric, or is that all put out there to make people like me question her? Maybe. And so let's see here. Yeah, I think so too, Charisse. I think you're right on. And I think that Dave treats the people in his lives and his community very well. And that's where, I mean, she just goes and she just wants to rile everybody up about all the scumbag attackers and all that have done all these things to her, but she's never once put any proof up. She's never once challenged herself to learn how to put some images up or anything. For as long as she's been doing things, why hasn't she invested in some kind of, photo editing or a little something? It's, yeah. And I mean, she, exactly, because Brooks, and then she would be responsible for that, if HB said she wanted to punch them in the nose. It's like, but it's not their fight, and she asks for it. But in the way that she talks about other people and does all that, well, then when they come to her, she just uses it as something to get more attention. And I don't know. I mean, I'm like I said, it kind of questions her credibility when she says that I was a scumbag attacker. Mm-hmm. You know. So yeah, I mean, I just like to get the truth out there, and I feel like the truth gets lost in all of the drama and the headlines and the money. You know. And let me see here. Let me see where I'm at. Oh, let me see here. I'll go over here. Um. Okay, so she started that crappy music because of Dave's video, so that was her answer to it? I think so, Ange. Doesn't it seem like they're just like little kids on the playground? Yeah, I just can't listen to Armchair. I just he doesn't say anything. It's like, wow, what a word salad you created. You said nothing. Let me see. Yeah, I agree, Sharice, that she listens to others' materials and then she goes on. I totally agree. I've seen it, and she won't give anybody the credit. Well, MB, you're not missing anything. Yeah, Sharice, and it does it really does start to just feel like it's bullying. Yeah, exactly. If years to try and offer her advice on how to fix something that she's, madly messing up, she gets all wild and just turns on him. Thank you, Lily. I appreciate that. Hi, Michelle. Yeah, I think that I think Michelle, I think you're right. I think she really does. She goes and she's seen it somewhere else, and then she just really goes for it. Hi, Summer Breeze. And that's the thing, he's got his own community. He's got, and if you've been with him from the beginning, it would probably make sense. And for me, I'll just, see something, like I say, it'll be a really good headline, and I'll be like, okay, and I'll go there, and I'm like, um, I can't get in it. So I think that he's had his community. People adore him. He makes a lot of money, and he does good with it. So um I think so. Okay, so Wendy, when I was on What's the Obsession that night, that was a tough one. That was so tough, and I really like Kelly, who has that channel, but she's been bullied by the people that want their opinions known, and they tried to take her job and everything else, and so she has some people in there that are a little aggressive, if you will, about anything that is not all against Chris, against Chris, against Chris. And so I went over there when I had read the Baby Wise books and exposed that there's nothing in Baby Wise that says anything similar to what Shanann was doing. And so went over there and did that, and that's the same thing. And it's like the when people say that she's such a victim of the MLMs, and if she didn't have the MLM, then she would have been fine, but the MLM took over. She'd been selling MLMs with her dad since she was young, and she had other jobs and whatnot, and that was not her first marriage that wasn't working out very well because of the things that she did. And the way that she was saying that what she was doing was because of Baby Wise. When I looked through Baby Wise, saw that it said nothing, but that's what she said it did. I saw the MLMs as the same thing. They're a scapegoat, so that what she's doing, she's able to put it on that because it's plausible deniability. Unless you're in there and you're selling enough or not selling enough to be going on all of the same vacations as she is, how can you say it's not true? The only person who could have questioned it was in that house, and that was Chris Watson. He did not question her because she had him so beaten down that he didn't dare. Thank you, Lelia. Yeah, Summer Breeze, exactly. And Big Al. No, I didn't. I did not handle it like a queen. It got rough. It got so dirty. Oh, Leah, you got put in timeouts when they were attacking me? Right. Okay. That what I was getting the shit kicked out of me. And I stood up and laid the shit bare. I was like, no, it's done. You know what, Wendy? I believe Kelly needed me to stand her back up. That when I called it and I said, you're too kind, Kelly. You're too kind, and this is gone. I know that Kelly wanted to say half of what I did, but she's got this little crowd in there, and she's made those ones who are attacking me are her mods now. So, I love her over there, and I think that, when she starts to see what those people are doing, to her channel and stuff, um, I think she's gonna stand up and be like, okay, I'm myself again, but she can't right now. She's got too much to lose. I don't have anything to lose other than my extreme financial aid debt. Yes, Lily. Yes, they do. They control her, and oh my, and the one, gee, and that one, she did a video of her own. It was, it was riveting. She really focused in on the sheet. I'm like, okay, you want to come for me, and that's what you got? That's how far you're gonna go with your theory. All right. And I'm like, yeah, you ain't shit. Who was blowing up? Okay, TT. Let's see. TT. Canada TT. I don't know. Um, I know that they've got share up in Canada, and I've heard enough about that one. Um, right, Wendy? I know. Oh, thank you. I don't know. I'm trying. Yeah, Hi, Jules. How are you? I was telling them, I don't know if you heard in the beginning about how I made you start talking because I love your voice. And that you've now look your Jules voiceover and everything because you've got a voice, lady, and I love you, Jules. I really do. Um and I was talking about how people, take one look at my channel with the Chris Watts and they don't see that I say that, what all the other channels do. And they're like, nope, don't touch her with the 10-foot pole. So it took me forever to get, to 1,000. People were just not, I have my amazing community and my watch hours are amazing because people are here for me and we're together and we talk about things and we go through the concepts and it wouldn't go. And then, okay, so as strongly as I feel about the truth being said, and as strongly as I feel about exposing spousal abuse for what it is, that it happens to both women and men, then there is this monster who was creating this Cat 5 storm on the YouTube streets, and she has everything she has because she lied about this veteran abusing her. And the one creator, Penelope Lane, who tried to expose this and expose her divorce decrees and everything like that, 6 months ago in the beginning, she got doxxed. And she has a history where she has a stalker. So her information needed to be quiet. And she got doxxed because people were playing into this lying, scamming creature, right? And so her videos she takes down and then puts them up, takes them down, puts them up, but they are incredible and just packed full of truth. And so I wanted to use some of her videos to start showing people who weren't aware of what was going on, who weren't aware of what Michelle was doing and what she had done in the past. And just a lot of the questions weren't being answered in other creators' things. So I didn't know how to get a hold of Penelope at all. And so all of her comments are turned off and everything. There's no email. There's no way to get a hold of Penelope. So I, did a couple of her videos with covered over and just said, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm going to have to ask for forgiveness rather than permission. But I feel that, your words are true. And hopefully you'll see that, I'm doing this and giving you, some views and some extra AdSense because your views are, your channel's running on mine. And I was not monetized. I was under the 1,000. And, she heard what I did with the videos. And so so I hit 1,000, 1,001, 1,002, Sunday night. And I woke up Monday morning and Penelope had put on her chat that she said, hey, if you guys don't know the backstory on Michelle, go over to Backstory Tabby's channel and look what she's done. She's done a great job with my videos and at Backstory Tabby, you can use my videos anytime. Go over and give her a listen and a like. And I watched and all of a sudden I got 130 subs yesterday. And people, were watching my videos and they're joining up with our community and they're listening to my viewpoints on the other subjects and stuff. And so how I went from, last week, just not feeling like I was ever even going to make it to 1,000, and just like, well, that's okay because I'm part of the solution and not part of the problem. So it's okay. But now, it's like I've got some great new members, to the channel and it's all coming together so nice. And so it's coming together. It's coming together. Definitely it sure is. Um Thanks, Leah. Thank you so much. Do you guys keep getting that antivirus protection stuff? And I was like, knock it off. I don't leave me alone. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Becky Boo. You know what? I mean, honestly, I think that happens a lot. I honestly do because I'm going, some of these people who don't even put anything up and then they get like 300 overnight. I'm going, there's no way. There is no way. But it will be interesting for people to see that what I'm exposing in Michelle is, right where I began, because Michelle, one of the videos, she's openly beating one of the dogs. She favors one and abuses the other, just like Lardo, Jules. And so she literally wants the girl dog on her and then doesn't want the boy dog on. So in one of the videos, she's hugging the one and she is close-handed punching the other dog in the face and then kicking him. and it happens on multiple occasions. And so you know me. Um, yes, I loved your Christmas tree pictures. Thank you, MB. Thank you. So yeah, I mean, exactly. Oh, you think that Becky, you think that it does seem to stall right before 1,000? Yeah, it's just like Lardy. I can't. In these people, they exactly, Charisse, and that's where bringing back the videos with the truth and the facts is important. Oh, absolutely, on camera, she doesn't stop, and people are giving her money. She has alimony. She has full Social Security. She has a new vehicle and is living in the house until May when the house gets sold and the equity from that house gets divided. She was only with her husband for, I think, 2 or 3 years at this point. Now that I'm looking at it, um, this husband is not the husbands of her kids or anything before. She got him at the end of her escort career and the end of his military career. Um, and she just got deep in her addiction, and I have some videos to show you guys that are really, really sad. But like I say, I'll get accused of being a bully, I'll get accused of doing this and everything, but again, this person is abusing animals, and what she's doing then is that then she's driving drunk and high to go and get more drugs every time she gets a cash app. And she got 3,000 in cash apps in the week prior. She lied about this one cream for her toe not being covered. And it's absolutely covered. She has 2 different forms of insurance to cover. She has better insurance coverage than most of us. And like I say, no mortgage, no rent, no house payment, no car payment, nothing. She has nothing overhead, and she gets that alimony, the beautiful house, the car, everything. She gets everything and has nothing. And she has these people giving her all of this money, and she has people watching her then drive drunk and high. She's like taking out curbs and everything and popping her wheels, and people don't care. They give her more and more money. And before she takes out a family of 5 and kills them, before she doesn't wake up one night and, oh, all these people who are on YouTube who are supporting her and giving her all this money are like, oh no, oh no. Before those 2 things happen, I'm trying to put the truth out there so that at least, even if I get to one more person that won't give in to her, because I'm convinced there is a lot of. Exactly. Hi, Jeanette. Exactly. I'm convinced that they all go to the same narc school. They beat up on animals, and they lie. They lie, they lie, they lie. And people believe them. And then there's all these mentally compromised individuals that are watching the YouTube, and they have their credit cards ready to give these people money. I think they connect to these people thinking that these people are, celebrities. Then they've never been able to like talk to somebody who's like on the TV and give them money. And they think if they give them money, they'll be their friend, kind of like give them their lunch money. I mean, I can't think of any other way that there are people with minds that work, brains that work, that are giving her money. And last week she was, threatening S, of course, because anytime she gets confronted about her lies, she threatens S. And so people were saying that, they needed to call for a well person check, etc., etc. And I knew that she had many, many firearms in her house. So I wanted to get that information out right away. And then people were saying, oh no, don't call the police because they'll shoot her, because that's what they do to mentally ill people. And it's like, no, that should not be out there. If somebody is threatening to take their life or somebody else's, you should always call the police. Which exactly, Becky, exactly. One of the things that in the story that's coming out about the transgender school shooter yesterday. That's so terrible. Um, is that before she went to the school, she sent out a series of texts to her longtime friend, threatening S and saying that, hey, you're going to see what I'm doing on the news tomorrow. That I'm not going to live past today, and what I'm going to go do is going to be on the news. So this girl that she sent him to did the right thing. She called the police to show these texts before the school shooting happened. And 911 put her on a 7-minute hold and then told her to call the non-emergency number. Non-emergency number told her to have her friend call the suicide hotline. Almost simultaneously, that shooting then occurred. You know? I do think that they're lonely. And that's the thing, is that when people trivialize S, then people who are actually threats to themselves and others, like the one I just described, they're not taken seriously and lives are lost. Becky, at our school, in our town, we do have armed security. And the other thing, and so at my children's grade school when they were young, they put in all of the new doors, so that then nobody could get past unless they were buzzed in by the front doors. That the doors had this new security. And it was put, all over all of the messages that, this new system was in for the next day. I sat there and I watched one after another of people then going and taking their kids in the area where it was supposed to be buses only to drop their kids off to go through the doors that were not locked down in the front. They would drive, because like the area where the buses are, cars are not supposed to go through there, almost running over other kids, not where they're supposed to be, taking their kids there so their kids wouldn't have to wait to be buzzed in. So it's like, it's a process. It's like when they go and they retrofit the new doors to be buzzed in. It's it's a little bit of a learning curve the first few weeks, but it's done for a reason, so these things won't continue to happen. And then you watch the idiot parents like that who are just teaching their kids to not respect the rules and not be careful. I mean, when I just went to, yeah, Becky Boo, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. When we went to a concert a couple of weeks ago, they had their metal detectors up really high. So, it caught my husband's artificial hip. He had to have somebody come and pat him down. He had to have a male come and pat him down, a second guard, and that's fine. And then thank you, MB. I agree. Um MB, write to me. You remember Tabitha Jane 0 at gmail.com. Write to me. I'll help in any way I can. Um and then my boots, the metal on them set off. So they had to have a female come over, and she felt all my, all over in my boots and everything, made sure I didn't have a knife on me. That's fine. There are different security provisions put in so that it protects everybody, and I have no problem with that. And I think that's the way it should be for schools. We don't have a choice. Well, thank you, Michelle. Hey, okay, how are you? Hi. Yeah, Becky, does yours ever um does your mom's ever go off at the security? Well, I gotta get going now. I can tell that the man is coming up and he's gonna make me go to bed. You know how he is. Doesn't understand a big YouTuber here with a huge YouTube career. Well, thank you all for listening and thank you for thousand and thank you so much. Thank Thanks for spending your lunch with me, honey. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah. I think he's gonna need to get a card too because they're not one of these days they're not gonna listen, right? Well, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. No, and knitter, I can't either. No, the dancing was real terrible. No, I don't go along with her line of thinking at all. No, MB, thank you so much. Love you guys. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Michelle. Thank you. Thank you. Bye bye.